need. Do not go after external refugee. Neither God nor any other can be your refugee.
Today we can start learning the simple past tense. I think we have done we have already done the present tense. And when discussing present tense, we discussed that there are 4 components, 4 areas in the simple present tense. We have already discussed them. And now we are going to learn about past tenses. We can start learning the simple past tense here. So we basically use the simple past tense to talk about finished actions in the past. We use the simple past tense to talk about finished actions in the past. So we should understand how we can form sentences. Here you can see the 3 forms of the verb. Whatever the verb we take, when it comes to ordinary verbs, of course, we find the verb in 3 different forms. An ordinary verb has 3 major forms. The first one is the base form. Second is the simple past form, and third is the past participle. So come, came, come, give, gave, given, cut, cut, cut. They are irregular verbs. And invite, invited, in count, counted, counted. The last 2 examples are regular verbs. So if a verb is ended from ed, we consider them to be regular verbs. All the time regular verbs are ended from ed. That's why we can see certain pattern in forming the 3 major forms. So we consider them to be regular verbs. But when it comes to the other verbs, of course, you can see they do not have particular pattern in forming the 3 major forms. They have their own way of forming the forms. So we consider them to be irregular verbs. So you can see now I have highlighted the simple past form here because we can only use the simple past form in the simple past tense. And the other way, the simple past form can only be used in the simple past tense. We don't use that form in any other tenses. The middle one, came, gave, cut, invited, likewise. The middle one is the simple past form. That is what we usually used in the simple past tense. This middle form is used only in the simple past tense. We don't see it used in any other tenses. So when it comes to the formation, we can see how the simple past form gets formed here. Did plus go equal went. Did plus come equal came. Did plus have equal had. Did plus count equal counted. So all the time, the relevant helping verb is did, and it is the relevant helping verb of the simple past tense. The helping verb plus the base form equal the simple past form here. We can line up all the ordinary verbs of the language, simple past form. So we should understand this is how they get formed, whatever the form, whatever the verb it may be. All the simple past forms are formed like this. And now you can see a few actions: get up, have a wash, have a bath, have my wet tea, get dressed, have my breakfast, leave home, leave temple, arrive at school, arrive at Pirivana, start work. So if we talk about these happenings or actions after 9, all these things are going to past. If we are going to talk about these actions or happenings after 9 a.m., all these things are going to pass. So when talking about something finished, we do have to use the simple past tense. Right. For the purpose of clearly comprehending the simple past tense, you can start writing a diary. So you know that we basically note down things at night, at the end of the day. So at the end of the day or at night, we can take down all the things that we did during the day using the simple past tense. Then you can understand how it is used to talk about finished actions. So when we talk about if we are if the time is 9, these things are finished. Then we have to express these ideas using the simple past tense. I got up at 4 o'clock. Get up is the simple. And if you use any subject to these phrases, you can have the simple present tense. I get up. I have a wash. I get up around 4 o'clock. I have a wash. Thereafter, I have a wash. Oh, I usually have a bath around 5 o'clock. I have my wet tea at 5 o'clock. Get dressed or get undressed. If you want to go somewhere, you should get dressed. When you get back to the temple, you get undressed. I have my breakfast at 7. I leave the temple by 7:30. I arrive at Pirivana at 9. I start work or I start teaching at 8:45. Likewise, we can use the simple present tense if we are going to talk about these things as habitual or general actions that we are daily involved. But if you are going to talk about those happenings, actions as they happen in the past, we do have to use the simple past tense, as you can see here on the screen. I got up at 4 o'clock. I had a bath early in the morning. I had my bed tea. I got dressed at 7. I had my breakfast at 7:15. I left home at 7:30. I arrived at office. So I arrived at Pirivana at 8:15. I started teaching. I started working. I started work. I started learning at 8:30. Likewise, you can see the simple past tense is used to talk all the completed or finished actions. Now, Venerable Thera, if you want to ask anything, please, you can interrupt me, you can stop me, and we can discuss.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone, sir. There are 2 sentences. I got up. So
Yeah.
can we say that we woke up?
Yeah, you can say. That is also
But
sitting.
the last one is I started work. Should be started working.
Yeah, because work of course can be used as a noun. Most of the time, even though we can use work as a noun as well as a verb. So when I started work, their work is a noun. But if you are going to any other use, their base form, their base forms don't become a noun. Therefore, we have to make it a noun by having an ing at the end or putting that into gerund form. A verb can be made a noun simply having ing at the end. Then we call it gerund. Grammatically, we identify those kind of nouns to be gerund. Right?
Sir,
Yeah.
how to use the adverbs at the same way the simple present or different way? Always, often, generally, all those are.
The rule is the same. I think you can remember when we talk about the simple past tense, simple present tense, I told you that we generally use the uh, adverb of time before the main verb. So it is the same here.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Collecting stamps is my hobby. I took a very simple example. So here collecting is a noun. Simply having ing at the end of a verb, the verb can be made a noun. Collecting stamps. Ekatu kirim is my hobby. So, yes. And here I start work at 8:30. But if we are going to use another verb, we started building the house in 2020. We started building the house because usually we don't use build as a noun. Well, that means abstract noun. But you can say that I start working as well. But even work can be used. I started reading. We can't say I start read. I start reading the newspaper. I started reading the newspaper. So the simple rule here is when we use two verbs together, the second becomes gerund or with ing. Anything that you would like to ask?
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Please, can you explain got up and woke up? What's the difference of that? Because normally early in the morning we wake up at
Yeah.
early, but got up, which means after sitting when we get up. What is the difference of that? Get up and wake up.
Yes, you can say that I will give you this example. Does the high priest Does the high priest wake you up, or you get up yourself? Can you see the example? Does the high priest wake you up, or
The high priest.
do you get up yourself? Does the high priest wake you up? Or do you get up yourself? So you can see wake up is a transitive verb. Get up is intransitive. Transitive is a verb which takes an object. Intransitive is a verb which doesn't take an object. සකර්මකව අපිට use කරන්න පුළුවන් wake up කියන එක අකර්මකව කර්මයක් නැතුව use කරන්න පුළුවන් grammatically කතා කරොත්. තේරෙන භාෂාවෙන් කතා කරොත් wake up කියන්නේ ඇහැරෝනවා ඇහැරෙනවා දෙකම තියෙනවා. get up ඇහැරෙනවා විතරයි. Does the high priest wake you up? ලොකුහාමුදුරුවෝ ආව ඇහැරෝනවාද, or do you get up yourself? Can you understand?
Yes, I got it.
Right. Likewise, actually, it is very important if you can, you know that I didn't have an idea to explain this. I explain as you question. So sometimes if you allow me to just continue teaching, I would just go on doing what I think or what I think that I should do. But if you question, actually, you raise your question. You ask the difficulties that you confront. So all the time I remind you that by way of questioning, of course, we can make things clear. So questions are welcome. Please, better if we can continue this in form of a dialogue and discussion. So when it comes to simple present tense, we can see that each and every verb can be turned into negative, interrogative, and all. So he came here yesterday. It's a positive statement, general statement. He came here yesterday. We talk about something happened yesterday. In the sense of come, we can use even get. දැන් අපි වචන පාඩම් කරොත් සොයනහම get කියන එකට අපි හිතන් ඉන්නේ ලැබෙනවා ලබා ගන්නවා වගේ දෙයක්. දැන් get එනවා කියන අර්ථයෙන් get එකේ තේරුම් 50ක් විතර තියෙනවා. වචන පාඩම් කරන කෙනාට ඒවා මගේ හැරෙනවා. දැන් මම කිව්වොත් මම වැඩ ඇරිලා ගෙදර ආවේ පරක්කු වෙලා. I got home late after work. I got home. I got home late after work. Again, I came home late after work. So instead of come, we can use the verb get. මිලදී ගන්නවටත් අපිට get කියන්න පුළුවන්. Where did you get it? Without asking. Now you are wearing a very nice robe. You have got a very nice robe or very nice pen. Where did you get it? Means where did you buy it? මිලදී ගන්නවට. එතකොට get කියන එක likewise. Most of the time, even one word is used in different meanings. So anyway, he came here yesterday. So whenever we want to put this idea into negative, whenever we want to convert the idea into negative, we cannot put not here and there. He came, not he came. He came here yesterday, not he. Likewise, we cannot insert or we cannot use not here and there in a sentence and make the idea negative. So we have to understand the relevant helping verb. We have to understand the relevant helping verb which is hidden inside the verb here. Here we know we know how came forms did plus come equal came. So the relevant helping verb is did. When it comes to simple past, the relevant helping verb is did. But in the simple present, of course, we find two different helping verbs. He comes here, he doesn't come. They come here, they don't come. But here we do not have two helping verbs as we find in the simple present tense. So accordingly we can understand that simple present tense we do not have singular and plural difference. The subject can be either singular or plural. We have only one form of verb. He came, they came, you came, we came, I came. So we have only one form of verb. But in the simple present, of course, we have two different helping verbs, do and does, because the significance of singular and plural is there. He came here yesterday. So whenever we want to put this idea into negative, we separate did out of came. We separate did out of came and connect negative with that. When we separate did out of came, remainder is the base form. Again, we can't have the simple past form. It can be the simple past form as long as the relevant helping verb is inside the verb. But once we separate the helping verb, again the verb becomes the base form. He came, he didn't come. We cannot say he didn't came. He came, he didn't come. When questioning, we generally use the helping verb at the beginning, secondly the subject, thirdly the base form, the rest of the sentence accordingly. Did he come here? Didn't he come? So now we can make thousands and thousands of sentences simply looking at this block using different type of verbs. Now I'm going to surf the net and look for on the web, you find a tab like this. There you can type verbs. List of simple past verbs. List of simple past verbs. I think you can see the screen, right?
Yes.
Here, can you see the screen?
Yes, we can see.
Right. Now I just type here on the net list of verbs. You can see a list of verbs here. The middle one is the simple past form. And began. The class began at 5 o'clock. The class began at 5 o'clock. You can go for negatives. The class didn't begin. Bit. A dog bit me. A dog bit me. A dog didn't bit me. He broke the chair. I brought the books to the class. I didn't bring the books to the class. Likewise, you can surf the net and find a list of verbs and continue making simple sentences so that you can get used to making sentences related to the simple past tense. Whatever it may be, the tense that you are learning, you can get a list of verbs and make very simple sentences, put them into negative, interrogative and all. And you yourself can practice whenever you are free. You can do it at leisure. And you can say that they built a new house. They built a new house. They built the house 10 years ago. They built their house 10 years ago. So ago can be used only in the simple past tense. We started this class 2 months ago, which means before 2 months. And bought. I bought a laptop. I bought a new laptop last week. Came. Cost. It cost me a lot of money. It cost me a lot of money. It didn't cost me a lot of money. Crept. The thief stealthily crept through the fence. The thief stealthily, secretly crept through the fence. We dug a pit so that we can put all our dirt and rubbish. They did the exam last year. Likewise, we can go for making sentences. So we can take many sentences. Likewise, you can go for negatives as well as interrogatives. You can say, I had a bath this morning. Or you can say, I didn't have a bath this morning. Did you have a bath this morning or didn't you have? I had a cup of tea a short while ago. Oh, I didn't have. Did you have a tea? So this is just like a block with which we can make a lot of similar type of producers. And here, this is something that we should understand. So most of the time, we use did, did, as a helping verb. When you look at this example, you can see he came, he didn't come. Did is a helping verb there. Did he come, didn't he come? In interrogatives, negatives, we find did is used to be a helping verb. We usually use did as a helping verb. But when you just look at this example, you can see did is used to be the main verb. I did my homework. There, did is not a helping verb. It's a main verb. Accordingly, we can understand. We can use did as a main verb. I did my homework. When you are going to put that idea negative, you have to separate did out of did. You have to separate did out of did and connect negative. Once you separate did out of did, remainder is the base form do. I didn't do. You can say I did no homework, I didn't do. Did you do? Didn't you do? Homework is a one word. Homework is a one word. The learning kind of things that we do at home related to our studies. And housework means household chores. Cleaning, cooking, washing up, kind of household chores, housework. And here you can see a few more examples related to the simple past tense. We went to the temple yesterday. We went to the temple yesterday. If you didn't, you can say we didn't go. Did you go to the temple yesterday? I had a cup of tea a short while ago. I didn't have a cup of tea a short while ago. We invited them, but they didn't come. We invited them, but they didn't come. I was not well. I was sick. I was ill, and I consulted a doctor. මාසනීපෙන් හිටිය වෛද්‍යවරයෙක්ගෙන් බෙහෙත්. දැන් මේ වාක්‍ය සිංහලෙන් දුන්නාම මේක ට්‍රාන්ස්ලේට් කරන්න පුළුවන් කෙනෙක් I took some medicine from a doctor කියලා. ඒක අන්න වැරදින්. ටියුෂන් වලට ගියාම අපි වචන පාඩම් කරලා ඒ අනුව ඉංග්‍රීසි ගොඩනගන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා. එතකොට අන්න ඒ වගේ ඉංග්‍රීසි හැදෙනවා. I took some medicine from a doctor කියලා ඉංග්‍රීසියක් නැහැ. සිංහල දිහා බලන්න. Consult කියන්නේ බෙහෙත් ගන්න. I consulted a doctor. මම වෛද්‍යවරයෙක්ගෙන් බෙහෙත් ගත්තා. I was not well. I was ill. I was sick. So I had to consult a doctor. So I consulted a doctor. I forgot to take the medicine after meals. මට කාලා බෙහෙත් ටික බොන්න අමතක වුණා. එතන බොනවා කියලා drink පාවිච්චි කරන්න බෑ. උර take කියන එක බොනවා කියන අර්ථයෙන් පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ මේ medicine සමග take එක බොනවා කියන වචනේ use කරන්නේ. We don't use drink here. In the sense of drinking or in the meaning of drinking, we use take when using in a context of this type related to medicine. I forgot to take the medicine after meals. Take is used here in the sense of සිංහල විදියට බැලුවොත් බොනවා කියන අර්ථය. දැන් මෙතන here you can understand the word order, the pattern. We have taken a few examples here. Dear Thera, please ask questions, right? Don't keep me continuing like this. If you have any issues, any difficulties, or you are still complicated regarding anything, please question. Where did you go? Where did you go? You then. Statement is you went. You went. Negative, you didn't go. You didn't go. Question, did you go? Question, did you go? Right? Then you can see where is used before the interrogative. Where is used before the question. Then the meaning of where is කොහෙද? where කියන එකේ තේරුම කොහෙද? Where did you go? So you can understand where, who, when, how, what. When those verbs are used before interrogatives, they become question forming words. Where, whether, who, how, the, when, කවද්ද, how, කොහොමද, what, මොකද්ද. ඒ වගේ ප්‍රශ්නවාචී අර්ථයක් එන්නේ මේ විදිහට ඉන්ටරොගටිව් එකක් ඉස්සරහා යූස් කරනවා. where කියන එකේ වෙන තේරුමක් එනවා. වාක්‍යයක් ඉස්සරහා පාවිච්චි කරනවා. දැන් අපි කියනවා you went කියලා කියන්නේ. You went. It's a sentence. You went. If you use where in front of a sentence, where means thana. Where means place. Where you went, ඔයා ගිය තැන. I know where you went yesterday. මම දන්නවා ආයේ ගිය තැන. Where you went. Then where is a relative pronoun. දැන් අපි කාගෙන් හරි අහුවාම where කියන්නේ තේරුම ඇහුවොත් where කියන්නේ කොහෙද? who කියන්නේ කවුද? when කියන්නේ කවද? what කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියලා එක තේරුම. ඒතකොට ඒක වැරදි. මොකද ඒවා තේරුම් දෙකක් තියෙනවා බලන්න. ප්‍රශ්නවාචී පදයක් විදිහට අපිට තේරුම දෙන්න වෙන්නේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඉස්සරහට. මේක එතකොට අපි grammatically we identify those terms, those words to be relative pronouns. A relative pronoun is a word that connects sentences while doing the work of a pronoun. So similarly, you can understand we can use those words to be sort of conjunctions. So where can a conjunction එක. සරලව ගත්තොත් සම්බන්ධීකරණ පදයක්. relative grammatically හරියටම කතා relative pronoun එක. දැන් මෙතන ගත්තොත් I know මම දන්නවා. I know where you went. I know where you went. මම දන්නවා ආ ගිය තැන. I don't know where you went. Do you know where he went? Do you know ඔබ දන්නවද where he went? ඔහු ගිය තැන. They didn't know where they went. They didn't know where she went. They didn't know. ඔවුන් දැනන් හිටියේ නැහැ where she went. ඇය ගිය තැන. එතකොට දැන් මෙතන ඒ වගේ we have to look at the word order before taking the meaning. So here in the first example, the මේකේ where කියන එක ඇහුවොත් අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් කොහෙද? මෙතන where කියන එක ඇහුවොත් අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් දිහැ නැත්නම් තැන. ඒතර where කියන එකේ කොහෙද කියලා තේරුමක් කියන්න බෑ අපිට එකපාරට. ඒ ටියුෂන් වලට ගියාම ඉගෙන ගත්තාම වැරදි කියන්නේ ඉංග්‍රීසි උගන්වන ඔය 100 හොඳ ගුරුවරු ඉන්නවා 10ක් 5ක් විතර ඔය ගොඩක් බහුතරයක් ඉංග්‍රීසි දන්නේ නැහැ. නිකන් කවුරු හරි මොකක් හරි කරන විකාරයක් තියෙනවා. දැන් මේ ලංකාවේ ඉංග්‍රීසි ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕන නම් ටියුෂන් වලට නොයන එක තමයි වැදගත්ම දේ. හරි ගුරුවරයෙක් ප්‍රොෆෙෂනල් ගුරුවරයෙක් නොවේ. මේක මම නිතර කියන්නේ අර මොකද ලොකු අවුලක් හැදෙනවා මේ නිවැරදි කරගන්න බැරි මේ විකාර මේ භූතයන්ගේ පන්ති වලට ගිහින්. ඒක බිස්නස් එකක්. දැන් අපි මේ පාන්දර ඉඳන් මේ ඔක්කොරි වහන්සලට මේ අදහසක් දෙන්නේ මොකද සමාජයට නිවැරදි මඟ පෙන්වීමක් කරන ස්වේච්ඡාවෙන් නිවැරදි මඟ පෙන්වීමක් කරන ලෝකේ එකම පිරිස ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේලා නිසා. එතකොට where did you hide the money? එතකොට මෙතන if you remove where did you hide the money? It's a question. සල්ලි හැංගුවයි. So when using where in front of interrogative, where is a question forming word. Where did you hide the money? කොහෙද සල්ලි හැංගුවේ? කොහෙද සල්ලි හැංගුවේ? දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් ඔයා සල්ලි හංගපු තැන මම දන්නවා. එතකොට I know where you hid the money. I know where you hid the money. දැන් මෙතන you hid the money. ඔයා සල්ලි හැංගුවා. Where is used before that statement. Where එක ඒ වාක්‍ය ඉස්සරහා use. එතකොට where එකේ තේරුම තැන. මෙතන where කියන එක ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඉස්සරහා interrogative ඉස්සරහා use වෙනවා. Here you can see where is used in front of the interrogative. Question forming pattern of the sentence. Then you get the meaning කොහෙද. Then where is a question forming word. And here where is a sort of conjunction. Where is a kind of conjunction. Here you don't find a question mark. I know where you hid the money. ඔයා සල්ලි අංගපු තැන මම දන්නවා. ඔයා හවසට යන තැන මම දන්නවා. I know where you go in the evening. මම කියනවා මම ඔළුවේ හැරිච්ච අතේ යන. I go where my head turns. ඔළුව හැරිච්ච පැත්තට යන. ඔළුව හැරිච්ච අතේ යන. එතකොට ඔයා කොහෙද ගියේ කියලා අහනවා නම් where did you go? Where did you go? කොහෙද කියන අර්ථය ගන්න. එතකොට අපි අර word order එක ගැන අපිට තියෙන දැනුම වැදගත්. ඉත අඩු හන්දම මෙතන I deleted a few examples because you can see them in the recording again. Where did you go? Who did you do it with? Then with whom did you go? With whom did you do it කියලා සාමාන්‍යයෙන් දැන් අහන්නේ. Who did you do it with? කා එක්කද ඒක කරේ? Who did you go with? කා එක්කද ගියේ? With whom did you go කියලා අහන්නේ. වැරදි නෑ ඒක. That is less usual nowadays, considered to be old fashioned English. There you can question me. I don't know whether you have any issue because everybody keeps quiet here. How did you do it? Right? එතකොට who did you do it with? ඒකත් relative pronoun එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? එතකොට the තේර who resides in this temple is a professor. The Thero who resides in this temple is a professor. මේ පන්සලේ වැඩ ඉන්න ආම්දුරුව මහාචාර්යවරයෙක්. එතකොට the Thera who resides in this temple. ආම්දුරුව මේ පන්සලේ වැඩ ඉන්න කෙනා. It's a noun phrase. This Thero, if I say this Thero is a professor, you don't know who the Thera is. But when I say the Thero who resides in this temple, then I develop sort of identification regarding the subject or the subject that I mentioned here. So there, who is not a question forming word. We don't use who. The word, we don't use who, 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 to raise questions there. There we use who. simply as a conjunction. Then we identify those words to be relative pronouns, because relative pronouns are sort of words that which do the work of a pronoun while connecting sentences. Relative pronoun is a word that connects sentences while doing the work of a pronoun. මේක අමාරු නම් සම්බන්ධීකරණ වර්ගයක් කියලා හිතාගත්තා නම් හරි. එතකොට මේවා එකපාරට when හරි how හරි ඒවා එකපාරට questions පද වෙන්නේ නැහැ. දැන් when did they come? කවද්ද ඒගොල්ලන් ආවේ? එතකොට do you know when they came? Do you know when they came? Do you know when they started the class? Do you know when they started the class? පන්තිය පටන් ගත්ත දවස ඔයා දන්නවා. When they started the class. පන්තිය පටන් ගත්ත දවස. when කියන්නේ දවස අවස්ථාව දන්නවා. එතකොට ඒක කවද්ද ඒගොල්ලෝ පන්තිය පටන් ගත්ත? yes. Anybody wants to ask the question? I heard. Do you know? දැන් මේක අපිට වෙන්න එක ප්‍රශ්නයක් හදන්න ඕන නම් එතකොට අපි කියන්නේ කවද්ද ඒගොල්ලෝ ක්ලාස් එක පටන් ගත්තී කියලා නේද? When did they start the class? අන්න එතකොට when කියන්නේ කවද්ද? ඒතර උදේ එකේ when කියන්නේ දිනේ දවස. අවස්ථාව. How did you do it? කොහොමද වායක කරේ? How you did it? ඔබ එය කළ ආකාරය. Anyone doesn't know how you did it. Anybody doesn't know how you did it. මොකෙක්වත් දන්නේ නැහැ වායක කරපු විදිහ. Everybody knows how you did it. හැමෝම දන්නවා වායක කරපු විදිහ. how කියන්නේ එතකොට ආකාරයේ විදිහ. කොහොමද කියන අර්ථයේ කියන්නේ නැහැ. මම මේ පාඩම් දෙකක් එක වෙලාවෙ යන්නේ මොකද අපිට මේ ඔක්කොම දිගට කරගන්න වෙන්නේ නැහැනේ. Because again we are going to gather together at a workshop for the second time. Then we intend to do a lot of activities so that we can draw out language potentialities within us. Yeah, we try to practice a lot. What time did you arrive? What time did you arrive? You arrived. Who did you go with? Who did you talk to? We discuss. Did this use as the main verb here? And this is also very important. Now you see that. Now we in a sentence we usually separate we usually separate did out of the verb just to make the idea negative or interrogative. Right? We usually separate the helping verb did out of the verb just to make the idea negative or interrogative. But neither happens here. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අපි did එක වෙන් කරන්නේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් හදාන නැත්නම් අර්ථයකට ගේන්න. ඒ දෙකෙන් එකක්වත් මෙතන වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Then what happens here? දැන් මෙතන මොකද වෙන්නේ? You did go there, emphasizing, stressing. You did go there. Tamuse sure ekata mehe giya. Aniwaren mehe giya. Nෑ avadara. You did go there. You went there for sure. You went there for sure. You definitely go there. So actually we can express, so we can develop the idea different ways using new words, using foreign words. But if you can develop some sort of idea, simply going for structural changes, you should give priority to that rather than developing the idea using foreign words. Pattern එක ඇතුලේ adjust කරලා අර්ථයක් ගොඩනගිය හැකි නම් ඒකට ප්‍රමුඛතාවය දෙන්න. වචන වෙනම දාලා හදනවට වැඩි. You did steal my book. අමුස තමයි ෂුවර් එකට මම පොත හොරකම් කරේ. අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම වා කරේ. ෂුවර් එකට මම අමුස කරේ. ඒ වගේ අර අවධාරණ. You did steal my book. එතකොට මෙතන you did go there. We, without making either negative or interrogative, we separate the helping verb did out of the verb and simply place before the base form. That is to emphasize, stress the idea. You did steal my book. You did steal my book. That means you did it. You definitely stole my book. You definitely stole my book. I'm sure, I'm very certain you stole my book. So likewise, you know that when it comes to an idea could be developed in a different way. So we cannot be restricted, or we cannot say this is the only way of making the idea. He did tear my book. ඒක තමයි අනිවාර්යෙන් මගේ පොත ඉරුවේ. She did say it. She did say it. පැහැදිලිවම ඇය ඒක කිව්වා. අනිවාර්යෙන්ම එයා ඒක කිව්වා. She can't deny it now. She can't say no. She did say it. Same thing happens even in the simple present. I do believe. මම පැහැදිලිවම විශ්වාස කරනවා. I do understand. මට හොඳටම තේරෙනවා. I do remember what you did. මට හොඳට මතකයි වා කරපු. Yes, same thing happens even in the simple present. So we discuss those things when doing the simple present tense. I think you can remember. You did hit him. Don't deny. තමුසේ අනිවාර්යෙන් මිනිහට ගැවුවා නෑ කියන්නේ. ඉවරකටම ගැවුවා. Right. So these are the things that we should learn related to the simple past tense. So if you have any question regarding the things that we've been discussing, we can discuss them further.
Just was a
Yeah.
can we say like this? Everybody knows that how you did it. I put
Everybody
that
knows.
in the middle of the sentence.
Yeah, sometimes everybody knows how you did it. Everybody knows how you did it. So that is not necessary there. You can simply use. So you know that when using a relative pronoun, of course, not necessary to use another conjunction. They are actually, you know that initially that is a demonstrative pronoun. Because we use that just to show something. That's a whiteboard. That is used as a demonstrative pronoun, as well as we can use it that as a conjunction. So relative pronoun. When using another relative pronoun, it is not necessary to use that there. Because you can, even though you omit that, the meaning is there. Anything? If you have anything, we can discuss further regarding the simple past tense, what we discussed right now. Or we can move on to the other part of the session. We can start discussing few Dhamma verses from Dhammapada. Shall we start there?
So, in the past tense that we learn, it's necessary to mention the time and date in end of the sentence.
No, it depends. Sometimes, according to the context, if you can develop sort of idea, sometimes you know that all the time it is not necessary to mention the time, but there are places where we do have to mention. Otherwise, we cannot make the corrections out of that. I think you can see the screen. Bahumpiche sahitang bhasa mano natak karohuti naro pamatto gopova gavu ganayang paresan nabhaga vasa manyasa hoti. Very popular verse in the Dhammapada. We say the Dhammapada because it's a world famous book. We don't usually use the definite article in front of books, but there are very important few books in the world. The Bible, the Quran, the Dhammapada. So there we use the definite article because Dhammapada is the world famous handbook of all the Buddhists of the world. So we say the Dhammapada. This is also one verse from the Dhammapada. Bahumpiche. Though he recites much of the sacred texts, we can recite, we can keep on reciting Dhamma. So we can there are some monks who can very nicely recite these type of verses. Though he recites much of the sacred text, but he is negligent, don't care the sense or the real meaning, and does not practice according to Dhamma. If we don't adhere to any particular sort of practice of Dhamma, like a cowherd, he counts the cattle of others. A cowherd is the one who takes care of the cows of others. But he doesn't get milk, he doesn't get a lot of benefits, even though he takes care of the herd of the cows. He has no share in the benefits of the life of Bhikkhu. Or if we do not practice what we preach, that is just like taking care of the cows of others. The cowherd doesn't get the benefit. So now, now when we are sick or when we are not well, we consult a doctor. A doctor prescribes us some medicine in a prescription. If we start continuously reciting the prescription, our ailment or disease doesn't cure. We don't get cured simply by nicely reciting the prescription. That is what Buddha meant here. So we can discuss these things, we can preach, or we can recite very nicely. We cannot say that they are not, those activities are not important. In our culture, we have some sort of value. But if you do not adhere to proper practice, according to Dhamma, no point of recite. Uttanawato satimato suchikammassa nisamma karino sanyatassacha dhamma jivino appamattassa yasobhi vaddati. If a person is energetic, enthusiastic, has a lot of effort, exert a lot of efforts, and mindful, pure in his thought, word and deed, and if he does everything with care and concentration, also restrains his senses, discipline in senses, earns his living according to the law, according to Dhamma, righteous living, and he is not unheedful, then the fame and fortune of that mindful person steadily increase. Uttanavato satyavato. A person with good intention and determination. Suchikammas. Things are done properly, very inquisitive before doing. Nisammakarno, Sanyatassaja, and we are very disciplined. Dhammajivino, adhere to righteous life. Appamattassa, and mindful. Yasobi Vaddati, fame and dignity develops of such individuals. Penupamang kaya mimang viditva marichi dhammang abhisambudano chetwana marassa papuppakani adassanang machu rajassa gacchi. One who knows that this body is impermanent, like froth. Froth means clump of forms. Penupama. So we have to understand the entity to be taken as physical body of life is collection of living cells and organisms. That's why Buddha says, Penupamankaya. So we cannot maintain this, or we cannot keep this maximum 76 or 80, 90 years. So we should understand that the physical entity which is taken to be part of life is deteriorating, changing, depreciating, diminishing. So that is there. And comprehends that it is insubstantial like mirage. So it's just like a mirage. Marichi Dhamma. And we'll cut the flowers of Mara. Chetwana Marassa Papuppakana. The flowers of Mara, the three kinds of Vatta or rounds. and pass out of sight of the king of death. So there are two different kinds of death: instant or subtle death, which is occurring all the time, and conventional death at the end of the life. Everyone gets old and ends life in death. So now in the existence, we have to undergo those two different types of deaths. So we can do away those two type of death by being enlightened, attaining Nibbana. Appamada rato bhikkhu pamade bhayadassiva sanyojanang anuntulang dahang aggiva gacchati. The bhikkhu who takes delight in mindfulness, appamada rato bhikkhu, that means the bhikkhu who heeds mindfulness as something great in life. Pamade bhayadassiva sees danger in negligence. And advance dahang aggiva gacchati, advances like fire, burning up all fetters. Sanyojanang anuntula. There are two different types of fetters according to this verse of Dhammapada. Anuntulang, Sanyojanang Anuntulang. Sanyojana fetters. They are heavy chains with which we are bound to the existence. There are 10 heavy chains, fetters, heavy blocks with which we are bound to the existence, identified to be fetters. Generally, those fetters, Sanyojana, can be grouped into two areas. Anunthula. All the conditions, mental constructions that give us suffering are thula, rough mental constructions. Ralu Samyojan. And Anu, the fetters will give us some comforts. අපිට පොඩි පහසුවක් දෙන ඒවා, සැපයක් ලබා දෙන ඒවා සියුම් සංයෝජන. These are the two different fetters. Generally, there are 10 fetters, so I think you all are aware. But according to Buddha here, we can generally categorize fetters into two aspects, like Anunthula, rough and delicate type of fetters. We get very rough experiences, painful, suffering experiences from thula fetters. And Anu fetters, subtle fetters, we can experience worldly comfort. Laukika sapa laba dena mattame ewa. But all are fetters. Punyavi, apunyavi, anejjavi tunama fetters come. But anejjavi has some potentiality of awakening higher levels of mind towards spiritual awakening of enlightenment. Pandanan chapalan chittang durakkang dunnivarayang ujung karoti medavi usukarova tejana. The mind is excitable and unsteady. The mind is flickering, shaky. And durakkang dunnivarayang. It is very difficult to control and restrain. Very difficult to control and discipline. Ujung karoti medavi. The wise one made the mind straight. Because the mind has tendency to lean to worldly comforts all the time. The මනස නිතරම මේ නැමෙනවා කෙලස් වලට. එතනින් උජු. You have to make it straight. Ujung karoti medavi. The wise one makes the mind straight without letting it to turn to worldly defilements, evils, or negative emotions. Sukarova Tejana, the simile given here is the ironsmith, or the person who makes bows and arrows. The fletcher straightens an arrow. A fletcher, a ironsmith, make the straight, make the arrow straight. Usukaro Tejana. Varijova talekitto ukamokata ubbato paripandatidan chittang maradeyang pahatavi. As a fish queers when taken out of its watery home. When you take a fish out of water, it starts trembling, shivering, queering, shaking, and thrown onto dry ground. So does the mind. So does the mind. Same thing happens with regard to mind. When it is taken out of sensual world, sensual pleasures, just to escape from the realm of Mara, place up to round of moral defilements. Dunnigahassa lahunu yattakama nipatinu chittassa dhammato sadhu chittang dantang sukha. The mind is dunnigahassa lahunu. The mind is difficult to control. Swiftly and lightly it moves and lands wherever it pleases. The mind settles wherever it pleases. The mind lands wherever it pleases. The mind goes where it feels comfort. Therefore, it is good to tame the mind. It is good to discipline the mind. It is good to control the mind. Because well-trained mind, well-tamed mind, well-disciplined mind brings happiness. Very difficult to control. Swiftly and lightly it moves. It moves and lands wherever it pleases. So it is good to tame. Tame can heal anger. It is good to discipline the mind. It is important to conquer, Damaneka, conquer the mind. Ittandantan sukava, conquered mind, disciplined mind, tame mind brings happiness to the individual. Sududdasang sunipunang yattakama nipatanang chittang rakketa medhavi chittang guttang sukavahan. Similar type of idea. The mind is very difficult to see. It is very difficult to see. We can't see. The mind can be only in the process of contacting. Otherwise, we can't see. When practicing breath meditation, of course, we can see the mind through the process of contacting the air. We can't see neither, we can see neither mind nor the air. But through the process of contacting, physical contacts, we can understand the mind through feelings. ස්පර්ශය හරහා ගෙන දෙන වේදනාවෙන් මනස අල්ලන්න පුළුවන්. සුදුද්දසන් සුනිපුණ. The mind is very difficult to see. යත්තකාම නිපාදින, very delicate and subtle. සුදුද්දසන් සුනිපුණ. යත්තකාම නිපාදින. It moves and lands wherever it pleases. Ittang rakketa medavi. The wise one should guard his mind, protect his mind, secure his mind. Ittang uttang sukavahan. Because for a guarded mind, secured mind, protected mind brings happiness. Durangamang eketarang asarirang guhasayang ye chittang sangamesanti mokkanti mara bandhana. Durangamang eketarang. The mind wanders far and moves about alone. Durangamang. The mind wanders far. The mind goes far and far. The mind goes very far. Ekachara. It goes alone. It doesn't take any companion. Asarira. The mind itself doesn't have a body. Guhasang, but it lives in the cave of physical body. Ye chittang sangamesanti. If somebody discipline that mind, if somebody control that mind, mokkanti mara bandhana, the bondages of Mara can be made free. Mokkanti Mara Bandhan. Anavattita chittassa saddhammang avijanato pariplava pasadassa panyana paripurati. If a man's mind is unstable, not stable in good, and if he is ignorant of the true Dhamma, doesn't care the true Dhamma, and if his faith is wavering, he doesn't have steady faith with regard to Dhamma, then his knowledge or wisdom will never be perfect. Initially, we have to develop the faith plus wisdom. Buddhism taught faith plus wisdom. We have to develop those two mental aspects simultaneously, otherwise it will be very harmful for the spiritual path. Saddha ප්‍රඥා දෙක balance එක යන්නේ කියන එක. එතකොට අනවස්සුත චිත්තස්ස අනන්වාහත චේතසෝ පුඤ්ඤපාප පහීනස්ස නත්ති ජාගරතෝ භය. If a man's mind is free from passion, free from sensual craving, sensual thirst, sensual craving, passion, if he is free from ill will, anger, hatred, if he has abandoned both good and evil, done away good and evil, good and bad, and if he is vigilant, mindful, for such a man there is no danger. Here actually mentioned about the enlightened one Arahat. දැන් මේ පුඤ්ඤ පාප පහිනස්ස කියන එක සාමාන්‍ය අපි ඇප්ලයි කරගන්න ගියොත් ලඩක් වෙනවා. පිනුත් පව් දෙක මෝන් නැහැ කියලා ඒක රහතන් වහන්සේගේ වැඩක්. As far as we are stepping on the path of spirituality, we have to perform a lot of merits as much as possible. So it is now I think we are running out of our time. Padhansa මොන හරි අපිට තව කතා කරන්න තියෙනවද? මේකේ තව විනාඩියක් දෙකක්. Do you have any issues regarding the things that we've been discussing so far? Otherwise, we can wind up the session here.